Three guys chilling on a podcast. Social distancing because it is cool.
Yeah. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to whoever and wherever you are. My name is Harry Barr. This is the 27th podcast, and as always, I'm joined by the wonderful Ben Butler and Joscel Bono. Guys, how are you?
Whoop whoop.
Whoop, whoop. Sounds very, very fun.
Yeah, very enthusiastic. No, tell you what, Harry, I'm very tired today. I'm physically tired.
Were you
What?
guessing? Or...
I want to take us back to quite possibly, I'm going to say episode 2 or episode 3.
Mm-hmm.
And myself and Harry, over lockdown, with our friend Ben Crompton, had started playing Farming Simulator.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, we had the hype around it. I'd probably say for about 3 to 4 weeks. Like, we played it quite a lot.
We were committed farmers, yeah.
Yeah, we were committed farmers. And I got a phone call from my dad last week. He was like, Ben, I need some help on the farm. Would you like to come help me out?
Yeah.
So this whole week I've been doing real life farming simulator.
Otherwise known as farming.
Yes, that is its colloquial term. Yes, I have been farming all week, and I tell you what, it has been the toughest week of my life. Like,
it did look so fun though, to be honest. I saw your story, I was like, oh my god, he's on a tractor! That's so cool! I was
don't get me
geeking
wrong,
out.
driving a tractor is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
It to be honest, it's not that hard. Like, well, I didn't feel a difference. It's just bigger.
Yeah.
But you go way slower. Like,
yeah.
You know, the max I can go is 15 miles per hour. So it's not like, you know, you're belting it down. Obviously, different tractors are different, but the one I
say,
had,
yeah.
didn't really get faster.
It's not like a farming simulator where you can just beeline across like 10 fields just to get to the grain mill.
No, I mean, yeah, you could, but you'd probably get shouts to that. But anyways, and I've been working with this guy who's worked on the farm for 50 years next year.
Jeez.
And I've been doing the slurry, so I've been doing all the smelly stuff. I've literally been doing the worst job on the farm.
Mm-hmm.
And it has been, yeah, honestly, the hardest week of my life. Like, physically, it's been really, like, draining. It's a lot of lifting. It's a lot of, you know, do you remember last week, Harry, when you said about farmer's strength? You think
yeah.
It is definitely a thing. Like, it is amazing because you're basically, you know, I don't know how to say it, but you're always lifting and things.
Yeah.
You get breaks in between, but the things are heavy. And, you know, if you're doing it every day, you're going to build up natural strength.
Yeah.
Like the guy I'm working with, he's definitely got it. But yeah, it's just been like, and it's a different lifestyle. Like, if I do something wrong, I get properly shouted at. Like, I've been properly shouted at. Yeah. And called every name.
Naughty words. Yeah.
Whereas like in any other world, you wouldn't really be able to get away with that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been like a massive culture change for me. And I've never had someone in my life that has shouted at me.
Yeah.
Like, that's just never been. My parents have never done it. You know, it's always been like constructive. It's always been like, oh, right, Ben, don't do it like that. Do it like this next time. Instead, it's like, you effing idiot, what did you do that for? I didn't tell you to do that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, and they're like shaking.
Oh no, dear.
So yeah, it's been a really, really challenging week. But I've got one more day, and I honestly, I wanted to quit on Tuesday night. So on Tuesday night, that was day 3. I was like, Dad, I genuinely don't think I can go back in tomorrow. Yep. I was like, I just hate the man. He's just been so horrible to me. He was like, no, come on, Ben, like, you know, you can do it. And he was really supportive of me and everything. And I know once I got through this week, it would have been the toughest week of work I've ever done. So I'm really looking forward to finishing it. But I'm also dreading going back in tomorrow. So
let's just hope he doesn't listen to the podcast. But
yeah, he doesn't even know how to work his email, so I don't think he'll be listening to the podcast.
Yeah, that's really interesting because obviously, from a perspective of someone who doesn't actually do farming, you think that farming, based off what you're telling me, it seems like it's something that's really underestimated in terms of.
Oh my God, no, it is. It is so underestimated. So we're in the harvest season, which is when, you know, you need to cut all your crops and stuff. And so I went up to my dad's so I've been with my dad for pretty much last week. Yeah. And I went up to his on Saturday night. I wasn't working Saturday. I went, myself and Lamo went to a party, and we got back we came back the next morning, but because it was harvest, I was speaking to my dad, and my dad left for work in the morning at 7 a.m. He didn't get back till midnight.
Oh my God.
There is people, I think a lot of what I'm coming back from this is like, this is so much harder than I think people realize. It is so much more difficult, and I do feel like it is so undervalued. And every year there's a lot of costs that hit farming. So they just cut the cost of milk, they cut the cost of wheat and all your whatever you're growing.
Yeah.
And so it's becoming so much harder to be a profitable farm.
Yeah.
But you're still doing the same amount of work.
Yeah. Well, not to quite give away where I live exactly, but in the sort of village I live in, around me, there's a lot of farmland. My godfather, he has a farm there and he runs it, and there's only like 2 of them that actually work there now, but pretty much every single other farm around him has been sold to James Dyson, because he's getting into farming. Basically, I think it's to avoid some inheritance tax, but it's for his father. But he said he's had to make so many cutbacks. There's literally just 2 of them that work on the farm now, and most of it's done by sort of computers now anyway with everything. But yeah, he said like it's especially the last year, especially because we had a very wet. Let me get this right. A very wet autumn or something into spring, and then like it's just been so dry this summer. So like it's just nothing's been on predictive what it should be, basically. Like we haven't had enough of rain at this time, and then too much rain at another time, and it's just completely killed so many crops.
But that's the thing is, farming is so dependent on the weather. Can you actually think of another job that is so dependent on what the weather is outside? Because like if it rains at the moment, my dad can't harvest. So then he has like, days where
he's got to wait for it to dry out as well.
Yeah, and he's got to wait for it to dry out and everything. And then it is a really interesting job, but it is bloody hard work. And honestly, I think it's been really good for me as well, because it's changed my perspective on how hard my dad has to work. And I think it's been really good, but it's also so hard, so difficult. But yeah.
Lovely. Right, so without further ado, we're going to get into Nothing to Watch. This week we watched The Speed Cubers, the Netflix documentary following the 2019 World Championships for the Rubik's Cube Speed Cuban.
Solver thing.
Yeah. Guys, firstly, what were your thoughts?
I want to take us back to last week before we start talking about it. And I'm pretty certain when we were deciding what to watch, I was like, let's just watch something a bit funny, a bit goofy. Speed Cubers, the documentary, is one of the most emotional things I've seen in my life.
I was so we picked it just because it's 40 minutes. You can watch it in relatively quickly. And I decided to watch it in 40 minutes. But I was sat watching it in the bath last night, and I started lying down, had my laptop on. Literally 10 minutes in, I was like this. I was just by my laptop, just so hooked, and to see like what everyone was saying, what everyone was doing. And so for those of you who don't know, it follows basically 2 speed cubers that hold world records in certain things. There's Felix, I can't remember his surname. What is
it?
It's something like that. But he's an Australian
guy.
Something,
isn't it?
Yeah. And then there's a Chinese American guy called Max Park, and basically Felix has since like 2009, I think, held the record for like 10 different speed cubing events, and then Max has basically slowly been overtaking him. And it's just following that how they sort of compete and how they've actually become quite good friends over the years as well.
Yeah, but that's the thing is, it's when I didn't realize, I didn't really read the description, so I thought it'd just be following one person. I think I quickly glanced at like following the world champion.
Yeah.
And so I just thought it would be following Felix when I first started watching it. And then Max, it came along, and I think when I started watching, saw Max come in, I was like, it's going to be like a documentary about them competing against each other and then being rivals.
Yeah.
But that is not the case at all. So it's worth noting that Max is autistic. So, and doing this cubing has just basically like changed his whole life. Like he loves it, but it's also slowly. So his dad was saying something like, I can't remember how old he is, but
he's 17.
He has like the mental, and he has the mental capacity of a 7-year-old or something. So he needs to learn all the social skills and doing the cubing, and also Felix, his top competitor, has made like his social interaction has gotten so much better.
Yeah,
and I think at the end, such a nice moment where Max's mum was like, "I just want to sit Felix down and tell him that he is Max's idol and he has changed Max's life." And I just thought it was so pure. Like, I was not ready for that at all.
It's a real emotional gut punch. But yeah,
it was. The thing that I really loved as well is how, like, obviously Felix had all these accolades, like all these world records, and Max Park was slowly breaking every single one of them. Felix, instead of being like, evidently you could tell he was obviously hurt about that because they were all world records that he wanted. But he was always the one to be like, "Congratulations, Max."
I think he said like whenever he breaks a record, he texts the parents. I'm just saying, like, just let Max know, fantastic job. I'll be able to get him next competition or something like that. And it's just like really nice things like that. And I think it's when the World Championships were held in Sydney, where Felix lived at the time. And I think so his whole family, Max's whole family, flew over with them, and Felix took them out to dinner. And he was, I think, like he gave Max a hug, and then like Max's mum, and like he turns out he's got like you can see he's got a really good relationship with like the whole family, not just Max. And I think like it's just the respect and the friendship there is just incredible, and like they're so thankful that he has been able to like mentor and sort of become a friend to him as well over the years.
Can we just fathom how quick they solve these Rubik's cubes? There's this one scene where Max is really trying to like break a record or something, and he's just there solving it with his one hand. And then just whilst he's crying, I'm like, mate, you just solved a 3x3 that quickly whilst you're crying. I was like, what?
Yeah, it's mental, isn't it? I like, but it's the way the way they study it beforehand, see what colours are in there.
I think you
and
get
then
like 5
in 6 seconds time, it's done.
Yeah.
And you're like,
I've never solved a Rubik's Cube in my entire life, because I look at them, I'm like, can't be bothered. I just play with them. But like, it's interesting seeing how they all different cope. Like, so you've got some people that have headphones on. Max obviously has that, so he does it one-handed whilst he's inspecting the other one. Like, he's literally just there, like. But
the thing is, with Rubik's Cube, apparently in the documentary said how there are like so many different algorithms of how to solve it.
Hundreds and hundreds.
Really?
They're not just doing one algorithm, they're literally going through all those algorithms as quick as they can to solve it in the quickest way possible. So if you think about that, whilst he's doing that with one hand, whilst analysing another one, is the brain capacity to do that is insane. Like, it's ridiculous. It was incredible.
I just thought it was. I just was so ready for a bit of, goofy TV, and it turned out to be such a pure and great documentary. And I mean, but it was, and when they both didn't win, but it was so great as well, because they kind of just hugged it out, and and they were just like, we'll come back stronger, and that's the thing they say.
Like no podium makes you stronger. I think it's interesting. Like Felix at the end, so it's one of these like one-on-one interviews, and I think that he's just been so appreciative because he's been doing it basically since 2009. I think he broke the original record.
Was this when he was crying?
Yeah, when he's crying. But he broke the original record in 2009, and so basically he's been doing 10 years of competing. And it was just like, it's crazy just to think, 4 days, you're losing sleep, but you're able to catch up with all these friends that you've made over the years around the circuit. And like, he's just like, I think he's realized that he can't like keep on doing that forever. Because obviously they said like, oh, you move down the rankings basically when you get to adulthood and you're looking for a job or you go to uni, you just don't have enough time to compete. I think he's sort of just like in that moment realizing that it is kind of the end of the like really like elite competition for him. Like obviously he'll compete when he can, but he won't really get that chance to catch up with everyone anymore.
Well, in fairness, it did say he broke another world record.
Yeah, he broke his own record.
I looked it up because I wanted to know like what the prize fund was and stuff. And I looked it up. In the last World Championships, it was 30,000 for the whole event, though.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Then
it
gets spread out. Yeah, and so the top prize. So the one they say you want to win is a 3x3.
Yeah.
So you win £1,500 from that.
Yeah.
So
that basically just covers your cost of travel.
It's not a job, is it? So you can't live off that for a year.
No. Yeah.
And you're not gonna win. Well, I mean, I don't know, if you won every single one, you'd only probably make about 10 grand or maybe a bit more, because it's just divvied out everywhere. So it is, but it's sad for someone like Max, who he loves it so much, but there will come a point where he won't be able to
compete anymore. Yeah,
actually do it. Yeah.
And just before we sort of finish talking about this, I just wanted to. I think like the end of the documentary, and it says, "Oh, Max has done this. Felix went to go and do that." And then the final. I think the final thing is, Felix broke his own world record in November 2019, which marks a 10-year anniversary since he first broke it. And I think it said like the only two people that have held that record in the last 10 years have been Max and Felix. And I'm just like, I remember I just sat there like, only two people in 10 years have been able to break it. And it's just these two really good friends who are pushing each other to get better and better. And it's just,
it is such an interesting, just before we finish, because there's two ways that can go, isn't it? You can either be friends as the top two, or you can be rivals. And just to throw it massively off topic, so I don't know if you guys know much about Formula One, but Lewis Hamilton is for Mercedes.
Yeah.
So there was another driver called Nico Rosberg that eventually moved to Mercedes, but him and Lewis were best friends because they both started at the same time. And then they got to Mercedes, and it was like, oh my gosh, the best friends are going to race together. But slowly, because they were both in the best car, they were trying to beat each other. And by the end, like now they can't talk to each other. So they went from being like best mates to now like arch enemies, because they were constantly trying to beat each other, even though in the same team. Like they were disobeying team orders, the pair of them, and it just all gets like, it's so sad to see that sort of thing happen. Because you watch video of them when they were younger, and like when they both got the podium together, honestly, they had like the biggest hug. And everything was so sweet, and now they're like can't even say hello.
Yeah, well,
Max and Felix,
15 years time, they're going to make a film about that. But again, but just like if you haven't watched it, I know we kind of have spoiled it, but make sure you go and watch it, because it is just like there's so much we haven't spoken about, sort of with the family ties of everything. But yeah, go and check it out. Great documentary.
Let's head to the Rusty Club.
Hey!
Anyone fancy a pint?
Our next guest is a rising YouTube star who recently shocked the world with his amazing editing skills when he showed David Dobrik how much he really wanted it. From cinematic vlogs to surprising his best friends, is there anything he can't do? It's the incredible Lionel Chambers. Lionel, how are you?
Wow, I really love that introduction.
that could be your new bio on YouTube.
I'm going to clip that, and I'm just going to put that in front of every one of my videos. Thank you guys for having me.
No, thank you for coming on. We really appreciate it. And and again, so we're obviously a UK-based podcast, and you're actually our second American guest on. So we really appreciate it. And
thank you.
Working with the time zones as well and everything.
I saw you guys had the people from the Netflix show on.
The big flower fight.
The big flower fight. I don't know how I'm going to live up to them, because they were pretty good.
They were really nice, and we had a great conversation with them. But it's different. We got different fields, so
it's true. I just thought it was funny, because I was telling my friends I was going to be on this podcast, and I was like going through some of the episodes, and I saw that one, and my friends and I had just binged that show on Netflix, so I was like, oh man, like I have to live up to this now. Like there's like a Netflix show, and I'm like here. So like,
well, I'm just going to preface it with like we have no idea what we're doing. We don't know how we've been able to go this long. So there's no nothing to worry about.
So Lionel, how obviously we've said you're on YouTube and that's what you do. Do you want to tell everyone maybe a bit about what you actually do and how did it start?
Yeah, so right now I work at an accounting firm. Like which is like kind of like night and day from what I'm doing like on YouTube. So I work at an accounting firm. I do IT for this accounting firm for what's known as virtual meetings. And I've always just had this passion for video ever since I was in like 6th or 7th grade. So like going on like maybe 10, 11 years now. And it's kind of been a growing passion I've been kind of like working on the side. It's kind of like, I don't know, sharpening my skills, watching a ton of YouTube tutorials and like practicing my filmmaking. And eventually like I started doing more cinematic stuff, meaning like I was like filming like events, like weddings, or I was filming like birthday parties, or I was just filming like people wanted me to film stuff for like their companies. So that's why I started getting to more like the cinematic, like trying to make it look really good. And then I started making videos for myself, and I made a TikTok. It went viral, and here I am.
That's amazing. So before we get into that, you know,
Sure.
I wanna start from the beginning. So
Yeah.
do you remember the first day that you got a camera and like what it felt like? Like, did you always want, or I don't know, was it like a birthday present and you saved up for it? And did you always want it?
Yeah.
Or was it just someone gave you one and you're like, oh, wow, this is great?
Hold on, I'm going to grab it really quick. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
So, I remember it was the summer of, I don't have like my first camera, but I remember the first time I bought a really expensive camera. The first camera I got, it was like maybe like a $50 like flip out like random camera. It did like HD, so I was like psyched about that. The first camera I remember, it was the summer of 2011. I worked at a summer camp and I saved up all my money and I spent over $1,000 getting this Canon 60D.
Oh, the 60D is nice actually. Yeah.
And I remember I was ecstatic when I got this camera. I was like, I'm gonna use, like, I used the hell out of that camera, and those first couple months when I get the camera, like especially like one of these like DSLR cameras, it's like when you really like get into like, okay, how the camera works, like learning all the different settings and like learning how settings affect like the picture, and like that's when I really started getting to get into it. So
yeah,
that's cool. So what, was it something you'd always wanted to do then? And was it,
like it was always like a big hobby of mine, and I'm like, man, I'm getting more and more into this. Why not just like invest into like a big camera? And like it was always like at one point I was going through like editing tutorials and watching all these YouTubers, and like at the time like so many YouTubers were using similar cameras to these, so I'm like, if I want to be a YouTuber, I got to get the same camera. So
yeah. No, because sorry.
No, go on, Harry.
Oh, I was just saying, like when I started making videos when I was like 13, but they were terrible. Like they were, I'd just be like, oh, I'm going to try to scope my garden today, and it would just be like, I wouldn't have a script, but like I want to do this, and this, and I used like this. I think it was like a Sanyo Zacti. It was like a pistol grip camera that flipped out.
Oh, yeah.
It shot in HD, but I never knew it did, so I just filmed everything in 480p. So I had these massive black bars on the side of my videos. So like, whereas like now with this, I'm starting to sort of learn how to edit better, and have all these. Yeah, so I understand like playing around with settings of cameras and things like that. I'm very much like in the editing, tweaking things here and there. But yeah, so I know the feeling.
So what took you to YouTube then? Because I don't know if you did videos before or something, but so when I go into your YouTube channel, the first few ones are from your time at Cornell University. So what made you then decide, you know what, I'm going to put these together and put these out to the world?
Yeah, so in terms of like videos in general, like I have so many videos on my YouTube channel that are just privated. Like I have videos dating back to 2011 on that channel that are just privated and gone. Because it's like, I don't want someone to go to my channel and then all of a sudden like they're scrolling through my videos and go all the way back and they see just like a video of me when I was like 13, you know what I mean? But like I've been making videos for quite a bit of time now. But then I had stopped for a little bit stopped posting my YouTube. I didn't post on my YouTube channel for like maybe like 5 or 6 years or something like that. And the videos that you're talking about when I went or filmed like my friends at school, that kind of started because like I've been like on the platform. I think I've been like a member of the YouTube community for like at least like 10 years. I've never stopped.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm always like watching different vloggers and stuff like that. And it came to like my senior year in college, and like I love watching vlogs, so I'm like, why not? I could just like make like this vlog. I think I'll be pretty good at it. Like I think I have the skill set, and like I was surrounded by people who I really enjoyed, and I'm like, I essentially just wanted to share like my friendships with the world. So I'm like, oh man, I really appreciate all my friends. So hopefully like the world will appreciate my friends. Mm-hmm. And that series was essentially like, it's our last semester at school. Let's go out with a bang and let's film everything. And like the whole premise is it's called The Good Old Days, and the whole premise is like in the show The Office. I don't know if you guys have seen The Office.
Yeah. I was going to bring this up. Yeah, it's a question.
But Andy Bernard says, I wish you're in the good old days before you actually left them.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's perfect because like that's the whole like vibe he tried to like encapsulate in that series. Mm-hmm. And like Andy Bernard also went to Cornell, so it's like, oh, Andy went to Cornell and we're at Cornell. And so that was essentially the series. And yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we obviously we know about Cornell, okay,
sure.
But and I know, I don't know, I presume I heard it, but we know it's an Ivy League.
Yeah,
like university. Like what drew you there, and why is it such a top-notch place out in America? What makes it stand out?
That's a good question. I don't know. What drew me there personally is like so I ran track in college, and I also ran track in high school. So when I was looking for schools to apply to, like a ton of schools like reach out to you, and I was getting like offers from like all these different universities across America. And then Cornell reached out to me, and I was like, wait, my grades are good enough to get into this school, so why not just like go for it? Mm-hmm. And then I visited the school. The school is absolutely beautiful.
I was going to say, I saw because you did a cinematic vlog of the campus, and it does look insane. Like it does look really, pristine. And, yeah, it
is absolutely beautiful. So the first time I visited there, I was like, oh my gosh. It was unlike a lot of other schools I had visited too. And what drew me to Cornell specifically, it's that it's the largest Ivy League. So like you don't get like a school like I'm from New Jersey. And like everyone likes New Jersey, and then Princeton's in New Jersey, and Princeton has like maybe like 3,000 or 4,000 kids.
Oh, wow.
Just in total. Like it's a very small school. When you put Cornell, I think there's like 28,000 or something like that. So it's like a lot bigger. So like I wanted to go to like a pretty good school, but it still had like a big campus vibe to it. If that makes sense.
Yeah. I like that. So, okay, so we're done with Cornell now. Let's talk about the moment. So,
the moment.
So David Dobrik, obviously, really well-known YouTuber, and obviously he's doing bits on TikTok as well as, So how does So what happens? You see a video from him that says, "Show me that you want it" or something,
sure.
And then you're like, "Yeah, I'm gonna show it."
Yeah,
and then you make a TikTok and it goes viral.
Honestly, it's just as easy as that. No, it's So I was scrolling through TikTok, and the night before, there's this kid. His name Mitchell Haight. I don't know if you guys know who he is, but he did something very, very similar where he had the prompt of the video, and I remember seeing that video. And I saw his little thing. He did something like very, very similar. And I was like, oh man, like I could do this, but I could just like really like amp it up. Cause like he has a great like version of like what essentially like what David would do, like just like happy with friends. But I'm like, I know I could make this like super cinematic. I know I could like hit people in the feels with this. Like I'm gonna do it. And like literally like that night, I filmed the video, posted it on TikTok the next morning. And do you want me to go into like the nitty gritty of like how it actually happened, or like?
I just, what was the inspiration around it? Really, like you just thought,
it's
something I enjoy, so I'm just gonna do it.
So this is something I enjoyed. This, like, I was expecting, like, like I could get some traction out of this. Maybe I could get like 1,000 subs on my YouTube. Like that would be dope. Yeah. Like if I just got just a little bit of like recognition. Because when I make my videos, like I always have made them like super high quality, and I'm like, oh man, like I put so much time and effort into these things. Like I really do think it could attract a bigger audience. So like I felt more or less confident that like if a couple people went to my YouTube channel, they would enjoy it. So yeah, I just felt like I was like, okay, I just really need to take advantage of this opportunity right now, and like let's just go for it,
Well, I can tell you, I subscribed to you from the TikTok. And
I think so. Yeah, because when Ben told me that we got you on, I was like, oh, God, that name sounds familiar. And he sent me the TikTok. I'm like, oh, I saw this like a couple months ago when it came out. I was like, oh, wow. My first instinct of like watching it, I was like, this is like Casey Neistat, but just turned up to 11. Just like the style. I went a massive binge on your channel as well. Like I love all of your videos.
Thank you.
Yeah, and it's just like it's just like the style was like protrude. Like it was. I love the cinematic stuff that you do. It was like it's unlike anything else I'd really seen on YouTube at the time as well. And that you saying that really means a lot to me, because I tried to like make my videos somewhat my own style, although like they're inspired by people like Casey Neistat or like Peter McKinnon, like people like in that realm. Like I do try to make it like my own in a way. So like that comment really, really means a lot to me, Harry. Yeah, that's right.
So what did your YouTube channel? Do you remember how many subscribers you had before you posted the TikTok?
Yeah, before I posted TikTok, I think I had 2,300 subscribers on YouTube.
And now?
And now I have 89,000.
Wow. Isn't that just amazing though, how you just took that one opportunity and like, because as you said, I was watching your videos and obviously I didn't know who you were before the TikTok, but I was watching them and I was like, these videos are amazing, and the amount of effort you clearly put into making them and especially editing them, it's like sad sometimes to see that you didn't get the recognition that you deserved. And it must be, so a question for you is, does that prove that you were making the videos because it was something that you loved rather than receiving the recognition? Is that why you kept going? Or were you just hoping one day you'd get the recognition from it?
I think it's like, I would be lying if I was saying it wasn't a little bit of both. Like, I put so much effort into these videos. Obviously, like I love making them. If I didn't love making videos, I wouldn't spend like 10, 12 hours editing like a 5-minute video,
Yeah.
But like when you put like a lot of effort, when you put the hours in, like obviously you want to get some type of recognition for it. Like there are a couple of videos I've made where I'm like, oh man, I'm pretty sure this one could go viral. And then when it just like does it, you're like, okay, well, on to the next one and move on. But yeah, no, I do think it's a combination of both.
So the ones that I really love I especially love are the ones where you do like essentially like a tour of a city or somewhere. So you did one of Oregon or Portland or whatever.
Portland.
And then you did one in, Minnesota and the other ones. So is traveling something you really enjoy as well? Is that where does that all come in together? And
yeah, I think so. One of my 2019 New Year's resolutions was to just travel more, because like that was the year after I graduated college, and I'm like, I don't want to just like let this year go on and I'm just like home the entire time. Like I really need to try to make the most out of my time and try to invest in my craft, because at that point I was like working and I'm like, I'm not at school with my friends, so like now I have more time, and So I decided like I just really want to travel, and I would go. I would go to. I went to Oregon. I went to Portland. I went to Oregon. I went to Portland. It's the same place. I went to California, Minnesota, Chicago, and Aruba. I think those are the videos I did the cinematics for. Mm-hmm. And yeah, like as I was there, like I'm like, you know what? Like a lot of people when they go on like vacation, when they visit, that they have like the 1 or 2 pictures on Instagram that they throw up, and I'm like, let me just throw up like a quick like 1 minute edit, and like it's a little bit different than the typical like Instagram post.
And it's cooler. Let's be honest.
It's so much cooler.
It is cooler.
Yeah, I mean, I would say so too. I didn't want to say it, but
but something, I guess. So obviously, camera equipment and things is really expensive. So is it a lot for you? Is it like a lot of saving, and then you look forward to buying? So like something like, do you use a drone? You must use a drone for some of your overhead shots. Yeah. So and those are expensive. So it is a lot of, I guess, saving your pennies to then make this next video look even better to get that equipment.
Yeah, like I think a lot of philosophy I have with a lot of my videos is try to make it better than the last one, whether that being like investing in different camera equipment or just like spending a little bit more time on my editing or trying to do an effect with editing. And I wish like I knew this before, but trying to get into cameras is so expensive. Like it's the most expensive hobby. Which also just like, I don't know. I think that also adds to the fact that like when you put so much money into just like buying this equipment, and then I spend a lot of time editing the videos, it's like if I could get like some recognition from this, like I'm not even asking for a lot. If I get like a little bit, like that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
So is your like future goal from continuing building up, is it to do this full time pretty much? And like, have you had the opportunity to say work with companies and make, because these videos are great. Like I would use you to make a video or some sort of commercial for it,
Yeah, so like it's interesting. Like I don't know if I want to do YouTube full time. I think like my mind will change when like YouTube is like 100% consuming my life, and I'm like, I am making like a living. I make like enough to make a living off of this, and like I'm spending like all day every day, where at the point I can't do like my normal 9 to 5. But I do, after like I got some type of recognition, a lot of companies did like reach out to me, like a lot of random companies. They're like, we saw this video on TikTok, and can you make a brand video for us doing this? We'll send you products, and can you do this? And that's like super, super cool. I think like I do definitely enjoy like making videos like for other people, in the sense like product videos, working with companies. I think that's also like a little bit of a goal. Like I think I want to work for like a marketing agency where I can like help like be creative, try to make commercials and like those kinds of things. So
yeah,
be cool. Yeah, me and Harry were saying earlier actually before you came on, one thing that we really liked is that you're really happy to show off the other people. So you're really happy to be behind the camera and capture these amazing moments, but let the other people, in like the video or whatever it is, shine. And I think that's something that shows like a really good side of your character and personality, that you're really happy to do that. So yeah.
Thank you. That's just like, it's one of those things where I've said before, like I appreciate all of my friends. So I'm like, oh my God, let me show off my friends to the world. And that's like kind of what it is. Yeah. Like, also, like, I feel like I, like, kind of still get nervous every time I turn the camera on myself. And then, like, also, I feel like that adds the element that it's more vloggy, which is, like, not as professional as, like, when you film other people.
Which is such a strange, like, perception to have. Just because the camera's facing that way, it's, like, more professional. We've shown it that, you're like, oh, it's now a vlog, and it's more informal, and, like, people won't take it as seriously. But but it's, like, it's a really weird, like, conception. So, like, I wanted to get back into YouTube a couple of years ago. So when I went down to go visit Ben, I vlogged my entire time there, and like I remember picking up the camera, like I genuinely cannot remember how to like talk to a camera without it being stilted and like horrible. Whereas like with this podcast, though, it's just felt so much more natural. Like just like this is a better sort of like format for us to like talk about stuff, to showcase people like you, and and yeah, and it's getting used to what your groove is and what your style is.
Yeah, for sure. Wait, how long have you guys been doing this podcast?
Pretty much the start of lockdown, so like end of March, I think, beginning of April. Yeah.
I feel like everyone. I feel like the podcast realm has just skyrocketed in the last 3-4 months.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we are part of the influx. People like, I've got nothing to do. Let's
start a podcast. Yeah. I respect it, man. I respect it.
Thank you. And Solano, I think it would be remiss of us not to talk about the Black Lives Movement that's happening.
Sure.
And I watched your Fists Up, Guns Down video, and honestly, it was fantastic. And the way you captured the protest it was really electric. Like I was really engaged. And then I think it might have been your latest video was. Are you in Minnesota right now? Is that?
I'm not in Minnesota right now, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, so you were in Minnesota and you caught, or you showcased the George Floyd Memorial. And even though I was watching it, I couldn't take my eyes off it. I just thought it was so surreal and so just, I almost got like goosebumps and, just watching it, like it was so powerful. Do you find it hard in those moments? So maybe more... Well, no, I guess both, in both situations, so the protest and the memorial. Is it hard do you find yourself getting emotional while capturing these things?
100%. Like, when I was, the Fists Up, Guns Down video, I'll start with that first. When I was doing that, like, I was questioning whether or not I should even bring my camera to that, because I was like, I didn't want to be that one person who's just, like, trying to, like, exploit it for social media.
Yeah, well, you see all those people like those Instagram like at the protests with photos.
Yeah, like they're doing it because it's like more of like a trend. Or like, hey guys, I participate in this. Like, I want to show. I didn't want to be one of those people. So like when you're carrying around like a big camera, I didn't want to be one of those people. But it was, as I was like marching, it was so moving to me, and I'd be like, I would definitely regret it if I didn't like at least try to capture some moments and then like just showcase that to like more and more people. So like hopefully they are somewhat influenced. And that video, like I really didn't film much. I think everything you see in the video is everything that I filmed. So didn't really film a lot. I was just very like selective when I recorded or not. And I was really happy with the way that video turned out too, because like it's something that happened literally in my hometown. Like the walk happened like literally like it's like 5-minute walk from where I am right now. And I think that moment for me was surreal in the sense that like I grew up with being around all these different people, and to come and see like I think there's like 3,000 or 4,000 people come out and support for people who look like me. Like it is, I don't know. It was amazing. It was incredible to see something like that where I am from. And yeah, that was a very, very powerful moment. I think it was like something that like I didn't know that I needed before going there. Like it just made me feel like I really enjoyed my peers. And I don't know. It was amazing. And going to the George Floyd Memorial in Minnesota, that was like one of the things where it's like everyone sees that video, like everyone sees that the cop kneeling on George Floyd's neck, but being there, guys, it is a completely different like atmosphere. Like the whole time when you're there, like it's almost like everything's like still, like there's no one's really talking, like everyone's just kind of quiet, and you see it on TV, you see it online, but like being there is so different. I tried to explain it to a couple of my friends by saying like George Floyd was killed in Minneapolis, Minnesota, but like it is literally on a random street corner, like in the suburbs. Like there's a convenience store, and right across the street there's like a gas station, and it's like you can't even see the city from where that is. And it kind of puts things into perspective that like you don't have to you don't have to live in a big city for these things to happen. So
so like obviously we're in the UK, so we obviously we can't really just like even begin to imagine what it's like in America, but we definitely felt the impact of that across the ocean, across the pond. That's it. But like there was like in my local city, there was a 3,000 person march within like 2 or 3 days of it happening, and it was just seeing the impact of it going across the UK, and it's brought up a lot of issues we have here. And it's so sad that it had to happen like that, but I'm happy that people are now talking about it and addressing the issue and looking for solutions to it, because it's fine. The injustices are ridiculous. It's been going on for so long.
Hopefully it's the wake up call, not only America, not only the UK, but like the whole world listens and things change.
Also, one other thing really quick, one thing that really got me when I was at the George Floyd Memorial, and I didn't put this in the video, but there is a paint or an outline or like a chalked out body of where George Floyd was. And that really, really like got to a lot of people. Like you see people like look at that and then tears. Like I was like fighting back tears the entire time I was there. And that was something that's like, oh my gosh, this is, and then you kind of like put yourself in that video and you're like, oh my gosh, this is it, But
Jeez. I mean, like even that just gave me a little bit of goosebumps. I won't lie. Like those images are so powerful, and let's hopefully things change. But moving on to something that's a bit happier.
Palate cleanser.
Yeah. So over here in the UK, I'm not sure if you knew this, but you posted a video of you surprising your best friends, and you went around like the whole country and surprised them when you made a video.
Yeah.
So you actually featured in a newspaper over here. So you made so you made it into a newspaper over here. Like, so what's that like?
That was really, really crazy. That was like very like are you referring to the Daily Mail, I believe?
Yes.
Yeah.
And although the Daily Mail is big in the UK, it's big in the US as well.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, it is. Because I remember when I was, I did like I posted a video on Reddit being like, oh, this video could go viral. I'm posting on Reddit onto like Reddit r/videos or whatever it was. And it got like 1 or 2 like upvotes, like nothing happened. And I'm like, okay. But then I had a random like independent journalist reach out to me on DM on Reddit. And he's like, I'm a journalist and I would love to cover your story. So can you give me like your phone number and give me information? I was like, random person on Reddit asking me for my phone number? No. But I ended up like making like a Google Voice number and like sending him that, because I'm like, you never know, I don't want to give my real phone number. And then he did an interview and like didn't hear from him for like 2-3 months. And then all of a sudden, I wake up to texts in the morning from my friends being like, hey, you're in the Daily Mail. And I'm like, what? like the reporter didn't even reach out to me, like nothing. Like I got nothing.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it's like, hey, you're in the Daily Mail. And then like I was on the Daily Mail Snapchat. And when I was on that, I saw like an influx of like maybe like 1,000 subscribers onto my YouTube, and like all these people kind of reaching out. That was, I mean, I think that's one of the best videos I've ever made.
It is. Yeah, it's one of my favorites that you've done. Yeah.
It is. I don't know. I was super proud of that.
I mean, it's just like everyone loves a good reaction like that, though. When it's like oh, come on, or like, you just, it's like a feel-good moment, isn't it? And this is the whole clip, this is the whole video feel-good moment. So,
it was
really great.
Like, how I got the idea for that, it was like, I went out, so like one of my friends was going through like a breakup at the time, and I was like, oh man, like I feel bad, I really wish like I could be there for him, and I'm like, why not actually be there for him? So like literally like the next week I bought a plane ticket and I went out and surprised him. And I was like, I saw his reaction. I'm like, oh my gosh, because I knew I was like, let me film this reaction because it could be good. And after I surprised him, I'm like, why not just go out and like fly out and surprise everyone? Like that would be pretty cool. And then like I kept it like a secret for like months. Like that video took me like 3.5, 4 months to do.
No, I was about to say like the logistics must have been insane on that, because I think you went from like New Jersey to Minnesota and then like California as well, but like other places.
California, then Portland, and then Ithaca. And it was like trying to contact everyone's parents, like adding them on Facebook and like just trying to contact them anyway. It was a logistical nightmare, but it all worked out in the video. So
it was a great video. So I mean, they are just really good. So I've got two final questions for you. So one I'll ask and one Harry will ask. So as I've said, I really enjoy your basically like your tours of different cities and things in the style you do them. Would you like to do those internationally as well? Is that something like, would you like to say come to London and do like a video around that as well? Is that like something on your
1000%? Yeah, like I enjoy going to places and like just trying to encapsulate the vibe of like a city or a country. So like I've never even been to like Europe at all. So like that is definitely on my list after all this lockdown stuff is over.
Actually, so when you're packing a bag to go away, is it, so say you've got 20 kilograms here and you sit on your flight or whatever it is it camera, drone, blah, 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 and then clothes, or is it clothes and then camera equipment?
It's camera and then clothes.
Yeah. I thought it would be.
Camera goes first. It's like I could buy more clothes while I'm there, I guess. But camera, I can't spend $2,000 while I'm out there. So camera's always first.
Yeah. And Lionel, just like this could be the most important question you ever have to answer in your entire life. In order to become a member of the Rusty Club, which is our interview segment, what is your favorite ABBA song?
What's my favorite ABBA song?
Mm-hmm.
Please tell me you know who ABBA are.
Yeah, I do. Oh my gosh. Oh gosh. I don't know. I feel like there's only one answer.
Which is?
Dancing Queen.
Yeah, that is our most popular answer. I'd say, like, I think from all of our guests, I think it's like the most popular answer. Yeah.
It's probably because it's most popular, so people just think of it.
Yeah. I was like, I'm trying to think of other ABBA songs, and I'm like, Dancing Queen, I'm like, are there other ones like I'm just like missing?
Well, you've done better than Sarah and Jordan, who we had on from the Big Flower Fight. They did not know. They couldn't really give an answer. So at least you've done that. But no, thank you so much for coming on again. We really appreciate it. And everyone. Do you just want to shout out your YouTube channel and your Instagram and TikTok and stuff? Because it's follow.
Yeah, if you guys just type in my name, Lionel Chambers, Lionel Chambers. I'm pretty sure people know I spell Chambers, but Chambers. Hopefully if you type in Lionel, things will come up. Follow me. I'm not really good at this, but
I'm telling you what's going on, and definitely subscribe to his YouTube channel because the content is so good and it's so worthwhile.
Links will be down below in the description as well. So
yeah. Thank you so much, Lionel.
Thank you.
Anyone fancy a pint?
Another massive thank you to Lionel for coming on. One of the nicest guys I think I've ever had the pleasure of speaking to. Wouldn't you say so, Ben?
Yes. Yeah. He was a really cool guy, and hopefully we can. I know we have a small platform, but hopefully we can get him some more recognition because the videos he creates deserves so much more than he gets currently. He puts so much effort into them.
Yeah,
it'd be nice for him to reap some rewards.
Yeah, I thought I was good at editing with the podcast, and especially with my line of size video. And then I remember when I first watched his videos, I was like, oh no, I'm terrible. This is ridiculous. This guy's crazy.
Yeah, it was good. But yeah, episode 18, guys. Episode 18. Yeah. Can you believe we've been doing this 18 weeks?
Mad, absolutely mad.
Oh my goodness. It's almost 5 months.
Just thank you very much for listening again, guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share, do everything. Follow us all on Instagram.
Buy our merch, buy the hats.
Follow us all on Instagram as well, like the YouTube.
Tag us in any pictures if you've got any merch as well, and then we'll repost it.
Can you tell you want us to buy your merch? Anyway,
give us that 50p that we make.
Thank you very much for listening, guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Adios, people. Bye-bye.